Sup nerds, I'm Tom.
I'm Wes.
And we're talking about Spellbook. It came out in Gen Con 2023, which is August, and it is currently March 2024. Subscribe to our channel, please.
So Spellbook is a really quick game where basically you are drawing tiles out of the bag or from here.
I wouldn't call them tiles.
All right. They're tokens, acrylic.
Yeah, they're very nice.
Put in the comments, is this a token or a tile? So you're drawing these acrylic things from the bag or from the board, and you're using those to either build spells with them or bank points on the board.
Yeah, it really is a mitigation of luck game, because you're constantly going to be drawing from this bag. If you don't want to draw from the bag, you could take from the board, which is a known quantity. This is an unknown quantity, but usually this is less than this.
Unless
you learn spells, which is, of course, the name of the game. And a lot of them just are the actions that you would normally do, but just better. Like this will let you draw more. This will let you take more. And then there are ways that when you store onto your board, which is the only other way to get points. At the end of the game, you're going to get points from how many you've stored on here, and all of your spells give you points. But there's spells that will let you store on the board more efficiently, or other things that are, benefits, but it just helps you do those two things essentially better. So it's just an efficiency and luck mitigation type of game.
And there are a lot of different cards in the box that let you mix up what spells are available to learn, not to build, to learn. But everyone has an identical set of spells when you play the game. So you could swap out and say, oh, let's swap the green out for this other green, or we're going to go all threes or whatever.
There's 7 different colors of spells. You always use one of each color, but there's 3 different spells for each color. So you can use all of the 1s or all of the 2s, or you can mix and match, but just as long as you're doing the same. And actually, I have played the 1s, the 2s, the 3s, and a mix and match, and it's fun in all varieties, and I do not know of any particular I almost said broken condoms. I don't know of any particularly broken combos that we found out instantly. Nothing jumps out at you as being like, oh, well, that's so
especially because everyone has the same. So even if these combo really well, everyone has access to them. And it's more the luck of you could draw the one we played where I drew into I can immediately build this spell next turn. That's just going to run the clock out fast. That was broken, but again, that was all just luck.
Yeah, I think you did it on your first or second turn.
Yeah, second.
And then that way, but that also, the one in particular that we're talking about is this black 2 called Focus. You had a black token to start already, and then you drew 2 of them on your first or second turn. So then you immediately did that, and that changed your game. It's oh, now I'm just going to store 2 per turn.
Yeah, now
and try and rush out the game from Tom. And I could have done the same thing. I could have been oh, I'm going to try and get blacks to do that, and now I'm catching up with you. But I was okay, well, if he's going to go on this board, then I'm just going to learn other spells and get points that way.
Which you almost caught up. The points were really tight.
Yeah, it was 3-point difference. So
yeah, and it's still because you could only when you learn a spell, it has to do not just with you need the colors, but the actual rune, the symbol that's on the token, matters as well. So
not always, but a lot of them do. That one in particular does, yeah.
But so it wasn't just oh, well, now the game's over, because I still had to draw into the right things. There were still some choices of, do I want to just bum rush this, or do I want to learn where I can draw more, or the draw and discard kind of thing, so that I can try to I could have made that work a lot better for me. But my strategy was just get ahead and end this as soon as possible.
But you definitely could have that where it's just I drew what I needed, and you didn't draw what you needed, and you could have one person going, oh yeah, and then you hear on the other side of the table, and that's their whole game, and then somebody at the end of the game is no, it's just dumb because it's just stupid. I just never
because it's such a light, quick game, and that is the luck of the bag is half of the game. Half of your strategy is just let's see what I get and what I can do with it. That's kind of just how the game works.
But even if you have a bad experience, that was a bad 20 minutes. Now let's do it again, or go do something else, or let's have sex with Wesley.
And then the last thing with the cards is that there's 3 different levels that you can learn that spell at, but for the most part, you can only learn 1 level. So if you want to get the cheaper level for fewer points and a weaker power, because you can get it sooner, or you can wait and try to build up to buy learn the more expensive and the more powerful spell that's also worth more points. But then it's more turns building towards that. You have more times going by that somebody else could be doing something, which I do feel like, especially the last game we played where I was just burning up the clock, that changed the tone of the game a lot, because then it was just, what can I do as fast as possible, not let me try to build up an engine here.
All of that to say that I really, really enjoy the game. Again, I've played it at I've played it at all player counts, and I've played it with every variation of the cards, and I've enjoyed it every single time. The only people, and actually most of the people I've played it with enjoyed it. The only people who are, and I don't even want to say negative, everyone's always like, if they didn't like it, they'd be like, yeah, that was okay. It's just because they're like, well, I want a bigger experience, I want a meatier experience, so don't convince somebody that this is going to be a nice crunchy Euro with lots of, different ways to get points. There's 2 ways to get points in this game: spells and the track thing. So
I'd probably put this at like filler plus. Like, it's not quite just a filler game, but it's so quick, and there's so much luck involved in it that you really can't take it too seriously either. So it's just fun. It was a really fun game. I really enjoy the acrylic tokens. I think that was a really nice upgrade as opposed to just like cardboard tokens.
Since we're talking about components, these cards, because I've sleeved them, it's hard for you to tell, but they're not rounded on the edges.
Oh.
It's a minor complaint, but boy, God, does it make me mad.
So if you'd like to pick up a copy of Spellbook, we will have an affiliate purchase link down in the description below. You should definitely click on it and buy it using that specific link.
And you should buy that and then buy a bunch, whatever Amazon stuff you're going to buy, use that link first and then buy a bunch of other stuff, because then we get cuts for that. I think that's probably not how that works, but I'm going to hope that's how it works.
And while you're buying stuff, you should definitely check out Game Toppers. They are our title sponsor for the channel.
Yes, they're the best.
If you've watched us long enough, you'll know that we love our Game Toppers. We talk about it all the time. You got playmats, you got rails, you got cup holders, you got little spinny things. They're great.
You got Berkey, he's the best. Just subscribe to our channel and you'll never be bored. We're kind of new at this.
That's why you should sleeve all your games.
Yeah, for real. Even if you don't shuffle the cards, which means if you give me enough sleeves to sleeve certain parts of the game and not enough sleeves to sleeve the other part of the game, and then you're like, oh, well, those cards don't get shuffled. I f***ing hate you.